Hello. Now today's video will be about risk to reward, or more correctly, reward to risk. Now it's very commonplace to hear traders talk about risk to reward or reward to risk of 3 to 1, 5 to 1, 10 to 1, 50 to 1. But no one actually talks about reward to risk in the lower regions of 1 to 1 or even negative risk to reward. I'm sure that's a taboo to most people. But no one ever talks about reward to risk of 0.5 to 1, 0.25 to 1, or even less. And that's because the trading space is filled with people that don't actually trade. It's filled with people that actually don't do this day in, day out, and also filled with people that haven't been trading for a long time. Now, I've been trading for 15 years, and through my 15 years, I've realized that trading is not linear. I've realized that trading is not, there's no one way to trade and make profit. I've realized that trading is personal. The way a trader trades is specific to that trader, which is why you will hear some traders say that any strategy can make profit. And that's because it depends on the spin you put to that strategy. It's not the strategy itself that makes you profit, but the way you decide to trade it, which is why I am making this video today, to help traders realize that what they have been told is a lie. What they have been told about reward to risk is actually a lie. That except you're earning, or rather except you're making 3 to 1 or 5 to 1 or more on your trades, that you cannot be profitable. That's an absolute lie. And I have proven that from the many strategies that I've created, both manual and automated. Now, I create automated strategies from time to time, and I have realized that some of the strategies that I have created, mostly automated, have actually done very well with a very low reward to risk. Some of them 0.5 to 1. So basically you're risking, let's say, 1,000 to make 500, or you're risking 100 to make 50. And that's because there's no one way to trade in the Forex market. What matters in Forex trading is that you are making profit. So are you making profit? Does your strategy make profit? Whether it's a 3 to 1, a 50 to 1, or a 0.5 to 1, does that strategy make profit over a period of time? That's what you should be focusing on. And I'll give you an example. A trader that finds trading, that comes into trading when there's a bull run, which means prices just keep going higher and higher. For example, in the S&P 500, if you come into trading, if you learn how to trade within a period where the S&P 500 is just rising and rising and rising, and it's not pulling back at all, that trader will think that is what trading is all about. That trader will think all you need to do is buy the dips and sell high. All you need to do is set your stop loss at, let's say, 100 and your take profit at 500. Now, if that situation, that market condition continues for 2 years, that trader would have traded for 2 years thinking that's what trading is about. All you need to do is set your stop loss at 1, set your take profit at 3 or 5, and you'll be good. And this is the way to trade. However, that's because the trader hasn't been in the game long enough, because no market rises all the time. No market rises for 20 years. No market does that. When this trader then goes through more market cycles, gets to 5 years, gets to 8 years, gets to 10 years, this trader will start to realize that his trading strategy is no longer making profit. And that's because The market is no longer in a bull run. The market is now choppy. The market is now going up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. And this trader starts to make losses. This trader then has to find either a new strategy or a modification of his existing strategy in such a way that he can continue making profit. Now, when he starts to do this, he will start to realize that the reason I was making profit earlier was because I actually didn't know enough. And it's possible to make profit as a result of lack of knowledge, because you're just focusing on one thing, and to some extent that's actually good to some extent. However, it's after you've spent time in the markets, and when I say time in the markets, I mean years. It's after you've spent time in the markets, you start to realize that, oh, there are market cycles. There are cycles that come every 2 years. There are cycles that come every year. There are cycles that come every 5 years. And you need to be able to trade through these cycles. That's when you'll start to modify your strategy and create strategies that work with each cycle. That's when you will stop saying you need a 3-to-1 to make profit. You need a 5-to-1 to make profit. Also, on the flip side, that's when you will stop saying you need a 0.5-to-1 to make profit, because there's no one way to make profit. So if you are the person saying you must have a 3-to-1 to make profit, or you must have a 5-to-1 to make profit, it's just because you're a child in trading. It's just because you haven't traded long enough in trading to realize that that's absolutely not the truth. Now, if you decide that you're going to be taking, for example, taking sales off the Asian high every morning or every end of the Asian session, and you backtest that over a period of time, and you realize that taking a 1-to-1 reward to risk is less profitable than taking a 0.5-to-1 reward to risk, then what stops you from actually going with the strategy where you get a 0.5-to-1? What stops you from doing that? Because what matters is, are you making profit? Is that strategy making profit? Now, the thing is, most traders these days haven't been in the game long enough to actually realize that there are more ways to make profit than one. They haven't been in the game long enough to realize that it actually depends on your attitude to trading. For example, some traders will be better trading a 3-to-1 strategy than a 0.5-to-1 strategy, because what it means with a 0.5-to-1 strategy is that when you make a loss, your loss will be bigger than your profits. However, they don't realize that you will get more profits, more profitable trades than losing trades. So it's basically deciding for yourself, what do you want to be your focus? What do you prioritize in your trading? Do you prioritize the number of wins or the size of the wins? If you prioritize the size of the wins, then you might want to go for a strategy that gives you a higher win to loss. For example, you might want to go for a 3-to-1 strategy, or a 5-to-1, or a 10-to-1 strategy. However, if your priority is number of wins, maybe you've realized that in your career, whenever you make a loss, you revenge trade or you try to get that trade back, then maybe for you, what's best might be a negative reward to risk, which means a 0.5-to-1 or a 0.25-to-1 or a 0.75 or whatever, but less than 1. Maybe that's what you need, because what that means is that you will make more profitable trades than losing trades. For example, you'll have 15 wins in a row, and then your 16th one might be a losing trade. However, when you get the 16th trade and it's a losing trade, that 16th trade might wipe out the profit from your last maybe 4 or 5 trades. If that better works with you psychologically, then that is the sort of strategy that you should be trading. So do not listen to people that have made trading work for themselves and are trying to impose that trading strategy on you, because you might not think like them. Your mind might not work like theirs. Focus on what your goals are, what your personal goals are, and how your mind works when it comes to trading. Personally, I have, of course, like I said, I've been in the game quite a while. So I have strategies that have negative reward to risk. So I have strategies that yield 0.5 to 1. And I also have strategies that yield 3 to 1, 4 to 1. The highest I've ever gone in a trade is 10 to 1. I have never made a trade. I've never had a trade that made 50 to 1. I can't even imagine it. However, there are people that have made 50 to 1. I even watched a video where someone made 250 to 1. Now, I can't even fathom how that's possible. But I'm just saying this to say anyone who's making 250 to 1 in a trade has to realize that their win rate is going to be much lower than the person that's making 3 to 1 or the person that's making 0.5 to 1. That is how it is in trading. There's no way, there's no getting around that. When you come to understand this, you will then start to decide for yourself, what do I want from trading? How does my mind work when it comes to trading? Do I want a 10 to 1? Do I want a 50 to 1? Which means my win rate is going to be much lower. Or do I want a 3 to 1? Which means my win rate will be a bit higher. Or do I want a 0.5 to 1? Which means my win rate will be much higher. Decide what you want.